So throughout all of the trailers for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I didn't see a single bit of Hylian text adorning any walls, no Sheikah, Gerudo, or Zonai either. Figured I might be safe on this one. Once I actually started playing the game, I did notice the Hylian underneath location names, but everything translated exactly to just the names of those locations, as you'd expect. But then I got to Eldin Volcano, and I stumbled into these. Which, I guess, means that we maybe have a written Goron language now. So that's fun. Time to figure that out. Now, in general, Echoes of Wisdom really doesn't do much with the written languages of Hyrule, outside of the odd bit of Hylian now and then. But most of the signage found throughout the game is just represented abstractly, rather than with actual letters. But these big stone slabs, which can be found in the Goron Chief's room, are a bit different. These look to be covered in actual writing, and more importantly, actual writing that we haven't seen before. There appear to be 4 unique textures used for these slabs, each one with a unique set of symbols. Though I will note that there are some shared symbols between them, and this is actually the best indication that we have that this could be a translatable writing system and not just random scribbles as set dressing. In a proper language, we would expect to see repeated sounds, which we do indeed see here. I've done my best to break down most of the symbols that I felt like I had a clear view of and could kind of tell where the characters ended, though even then that's just a guess. And that being said, the way this writing is stylized is as sort of a hand-chiseled stone tablet, so the symbols don't all line up perfectly. It's not a font, it's clearly supposed to look kind of like handwriting. And like I said, it can also be hard to tell when one symbol ends and another begins, so I'm just guessing. In fact, I'm not even confident that I have these right side up. I assume this one, propped up against the wall, is standing upright, because that would just sort of make sense. It clearly looks like this one is like actively being read. And when I looked at the large stone tablet that's lying down in the corner, we noticed that it also has this same symbol, which I've just been calling Blue's Clues, so I oriented that symbol on the tablet that's lying down to line up with the one that's standing up, assuming that's right side up. However, they also both have this large symbol that I think looks like a Goron face, and when we line up Blue's Clues, Goron face is flipped and vice versa, so it's likely one of these is actually 2 different symbols that I'm just confusing for the same one. Hey, John from the future here, and while I'm editing this, I'm realizing that it's not the case that one of the slates is upside down. It's the case that one of the textures is mirrored, and so that's why when I flip it, nothing ever quite lines up just right. So yeah, it's not that they need to be rotated, it's that they actually need to be mirrored. And then all of the symbols line up great. So I will now return you to past John, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video. Bye. Now, a key part of deciphering a new alphabet like this is having a reference word or guessing one. For example, when we cracked the Chozo language in Metroid Dread, it was from this t-shirt that I randomly noticed likely said Samus Aran. Now, we don't have a similar context hint for the Goron language. I figured I'd start by just looking for the word Goron. Seemed like a pretty likely word to appear on the tablet somewhere. Every other language that we've seen in Zelda is either a swap for English or Japanese, so I figured this one would likely be the same. In English, Goron is actually a great starting place to work from, because it should have a repeating letter in the 2nd and 4th spots, which is very easy to recognize. Unfortunately, I didn't see anything that fit that structure on any of these tablets. Meanwhile, in Japanese, Goron is spelled like this. This doesn't have the conveniently repeating characters, but I did notice that the first line on one of the 2 large tablets appears to be 3 symbols long. So it's possible this says Goron, and the language is based on Japanese rather than English. Now, unfortunately, I don't speak Japanese, so I knew this was likely where my ability to make anything of this, if there is indeed anything to be made, which who knows, would likely come to an end. Hey, I'm back. So once I did mirror those tablets and had them sitting side by side, literally as I was editing the little clip that goes over the last time Future John appeared, I realized that a huge chunk of that actually is consistent across both tablets. It's not the same texture. Like, the characters have clearly been redrawn, and they're not exactly the same, but it kind of looks to me like maybe the bottom half of each of these tablets contains some sort of repeated or very similar phrase. And once I did have them mirrored, I realized that 3-character word that I thought might say Goron is actually on both tablets. And once I had everything properly oriented, I realized it's not at the top, it's actually probably at the bottom. And both tablets end with that exact same 3-character phrase. So this is getting slightly into story spoilers for this specific section of the game, so just, be warned if you haven't done this section yet. But the context of these slates is that the young Goron chief, who has recently taken over for his father, has this collection of mottos that his father left for him. He has one slate with him that he seems to be reading from a lot, but it's kind of implied that these slates may also be part of that. So my thinking was that all of these are sort of ending in the same way, something like, this is a good rule for a Goron, or this is a Goron motto, or like some repeated phrasing that's ending each of these rules. And that's why we're seeing a similar end on all of these, because that's the thing, it's not identical, and the first half is different. Though I will say, once they're mirrored, I'm seeing way more matching symbols, not in the same places, but way more consistent lettering than I did before in that initial graphic that I showed in the video. So there is a much more structured letter system here, but it'll take somebody more talented than me, possibly who knows Japanese, to figure out what it actually says. But I just wanted to highlight that before the end of the video. So once again, I will pass it back to Past John to sort of do the outro. Bye. So this is where I pass it on to you. I will be straightforward and say that I haven't finished Echoes of Wisdom yet, so for all I know, the game ends with you finding the Goron Rosetta Stone, or at least there could be other instances of this writing. Ideally, something like a sign where the word or phrase in question can be easily guessed, but for now, this is kind of all we got. But if you do uncover anything or have any theories, feel free to share them with me down in the comments, or give me a shout on your social media platform of choice using the handle on screen. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Nintendo World Report TV and check out NintendoWorldReport.com for a whole lot more. You can chat with us about this or anything else Nintendo related in our Discord using the link in the description. My name's John Reardon, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.